Okay.
I
Okay.
just he's got those high cheekbones. And he's got that really soft skin. Like he's very hipster. It's interesting.
All right, so it's Fright Night with Ferocious Fee, and we're already talking about the AI picture that Fuzzy put together for Getaway.
I like it.
So, this movie is with Nick Frost, as you know from Shaun of the Dead and a few other movies he's been in. So, let's talk about that AI picture.
Kind of
Where
looks
are you
like a
saying Fight
Jared
from?
Leto.
Oh yeah, it kind of does.
It,
Like a
yeah,
little
like
puffier Jared Leto.
Jared Leto grew a beard. That'd be Jared Leto.
Yeah,
I
like
thought he looked.
not like Dallas Buyers Club Jared Leto. It's like
No, no.
Jared Leto with a meal.
I thought he looked more like Kevin James.
Uh,
Mm,
so who does Fuzz look like to you then?
Denzel Washington.
Pharrell.
Pharrell. Oh
Pharrell.
boy.
Ooh, that's a stretch.
I'm sorry, Fuzzy.
What do you mean that's a stretch?
anyway.
Fuzz, you gotta agree with me on this one, bud. Nothing but love, but no Pharrell.
Well, I can put on like a Mountie hat and pull it off kind of thing.
All right, next con, you're dressing as
He looks
Pharrell.
better than Pharrell. Just say in the eyes.
Well, that
Anyway.
escalated fast.
Pharrell's got those little mouse eyes.
I could have said Snoop.
No.
Ooh.
Fuzzy is not high out of his mind, okay?
Nah.
Come on.
I don't know. Last Montemania, Fuzz was eating those edibles like you wouldn't believe it.
He thought they were gummy bears.
Oh, they were gummies, all right.
The best.
No, that AI picture, because the way AI is now, they got guardrails on it, so you can't say knives or anything sharp. Because I was originally going to try to have them, be a family in the woods with knives, kind of thing, and yeah, that didn't go so well. It told me I'm about to be banned if I keep trying to do stuff like that. So, yeah, just figured, nice family picture where they. Kind of like the movie poster, just not with the blood and stuff. So yeah.
I mean, it turned out pretty spot on. Like everything about it was very, very Hollywood. Everyone looks very dolled up, very youthful. So.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
something like that.
Listen, when you're making music, Pharrell only has so much time to do these things. So
exactly.
Are we doing intros or?
I guess so.
All right, who's first?
Preston wasn't here last week, so he can go first.
It's good to be back. I missed last week. I was at the Chiller Convention in Parsippany, New Jersey. I met Linda Blair from The Exorcist. She was very sweet. There's been mixed reviews I've heard about meeting her. She's very big into animal shelters. So I brought up that my wife's been volunteering at an animal shelter, and we talked for like 10 minutes about it. Very good. Yeah, they had a bunch of other people there, but it was just I went for one person, met up some friends, had dinner, and came home. So let's see, it's about it. The weather's finally getting nice in Pennsylvania. Everyone's allergies are kicking everyone's ass right now. So that's fun. 1 week it's 80. The next week there's like wind and 40 degrees out. It's been a little crazy right now, but I think we finally got over the crazy weather. Now it's just going to be hot. Like I don't think we even got like an intro. It's just like, hey, it's 83 today and humid. It's like, oh, cool. I prefer that like 60 to 70 that you usually give us for a month, but hey, well, I'll take it, I guess. So yeah, that's about it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty much Pennsylvania.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it doesn't. So when it gets cold, it doesn't. It's not like, oh well, this week it's 70, and then it drops down to 60. No, it goes from 80 down to like 20, and that's your introduction to winter. That's it.
Yeah, you could have your air on in the day and your heat on at night, like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
kind of like
Yeah.
freeze temperature, hot and cold in an instant.
Mhm.
Is that true, Fuzzy?
He
Well,
said,
I have it set to auto for 68, so the house pretty much stays 68. So if
See,
it's
he's
above
avoiding
68,
the conversation there.
I thought,
well, the big thing is it's like you'll have 40 degrees in the morning, 80 degrees in the afternoon, and then it's down to 50 in the evening kind of thing. So it's like jacket, t-shirt, then sweatshirt or something. So it's like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
See how he's
He's-
the master of this?
he's talking
What?
about all your moods. She's about an 80, then a 50.
Oh, shit.
That's
Man,
my-
it's getting real quick today.
That's my dog Fuzzy.
I mean, they literally designed these thermostats for our specific states, right? Because we run into the same thing. We
Mhm.
literally had a day where I think we were sitting around 40 last week,
Mhm.
maybe high 30s, and then by the evening we were sitting in the low 70s.
Mm.
And so it's like they literally design these things so you can set your high and lows, right? So like we've got ours as like if you dip under 63 degrees, then turn on the heater. If you go above 78, then give us some air conditioning. It's a joke. Ugh.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Fuzzy?
Oh, as far as what I've been up to, a lot of video games for the most part. You got Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which will probably be nominated for Game of the Year. It's really strange. I would like to see a movie about it, kind of thing, where without giving the whole ending, the main part of the story is that there's a fracture and the world is kind of broken apart, and there's this paintress that writes a number on like a monolith, and it counts down each year, and that number, if you're that age, you disappear. So by the time we come around, it's going from 34 to 33, and I guess Expedition 34 didn't quite make it, and some of the 34-year-olds or people that just turned 34, and this is all like set in France or around that region. So people that turn 34 are like poof out of his existence kind of thing. And then you happen to tag along as one of the characters on Expedition 33, and you're trying to break that cycle. So pretty interesting. You could tell the person that wrote this had taken some psychedelic stuff at some point in their life, although it is a cool story that I would like to see in a sci-fi movie format kind of thing. But enough of that. Played a little bit of Oblivion. Didn't play the original. Not really a high fantasy RPG fan. More of a sci-fi RPG, or like more of a future setting, like cyberpunk RPG fan. But having fun with it. They remastered it from the 2006 original edition to modern day graphics to today, and they did an awesome job. And yeah, this week has been pretty packed as far as gaming is concerned. But as far as movies, haven't really watched anything outside of like what the movie that we're going to be talking about today would get away. But definitely looking forward to some movies here soon. I need to catch Sinners either before it leaves theaters, if it hasn't left already, or as soon as it goes on digital or streaming or something like that. But other than that, glad to be here with everyone. Got some interesting stuff to say about Getaway, but I'll wait until we get to that point. But Cypher, how have you been, and what have you been up to this past week?
Balatro.
Hey, actually, I had a Balatro update just for you, Presto, because you missed last week, so I wanted to give you a heads up that I beat the highest difficulty on one of the decks this last week. So I hit a gold stake win. I know that means a lot to you, and I know you're really excited for me.
I'm
And
pumped.
I appreciate the excitement, and thank you for being so kind to me about that game.
Knew you had it in you,
No,
bud.
oh thanks, bud. Yeah, no, I've been playing that, of course, and I continue to play it because even though I beat one deck on gold, now I've got like another 12 decks to go, or however many it is. So I'm still playing that one actively. I was playing it right before I took my old man nap, right before I jumped onto the show. And I also actually dipped my toes back in and started playing some more Civilization Revolution from back on the Xbox 360. Really good game, and I occasionally go back to it. It's like every year or two, I'm suddenly like, I want a turn-based strategy game, and something like that is perfect. I think they made mobile versions, but the Xbox 360 one is nice. It looks good on the screen, and it's got a lot of personality. So I enjoy jumping back to that one, defeating a whole bunch of other civilizations. It's kind of fun. Besides that, yeah, so I watched this movie, and then as we were talking about before we got on the air, I just watched Drop with my wife right before she ended up contracting this awful head cold plague or whatever is hitting our house. So we both got to watch that. That was a good one. Strongly recommend. Hopefully, we can talk about that one in the future. For anyone that's interested in that one, I think it's both in theater still, and it's also now on digital. So if you decide to watch that one, you have multiple options. Trying to think. I feel like you know what? There's one other thing that I've been up to this week. I splurged. That sounds horrible when I say it. I spent some money and got myself a robotic lawnmower. So earlier today, I was in the process of putting that together and getting it set up. Hopefully tomorrow I can go out and I can actually set up the perimeter and kind of map the area. But yeah, looking forward to not having to mow more of my yard in the future. Just let it mow itself. That's that middle-aged old person goal is to not have to do as much yard work, and I'm hitting that goal. So I'm pretty stoked.
Nice.
Yeah. Very exciting for the listeners, I'm sure.
I'm waiting until I get to the point where I have enough land to have a riding mower. That's the goal for the next house. But
I liked the idea of a riding mower, but the thing about this is you can let this thing run at night because it only gets up to like 50 decibels. So your neighbors aren't going to hear it. Like it's literally making about as much noise as your dishwasher. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. So you could just have it mow the lawn for you, come out, and just get to enjoy the yard. I'm excited about that.
Nice. Sophie, what have you been up to?
Y'all are old guys talking about riding lawnmowers,
Hell
robot
yes.
lawnmowers.
You better believe it.
How old?
Feels good.
Yeah, I've just been preparing for going to Blairstown, so that I could be on the movie set and see what that's like. Besides that, pretty much nothing. Just chilling. So somebody asked if anybody's seen Long Legs. I haven't seen it yet.
What? God
No.
damn it. It's so good.
What?
So good.
Well,
you
we've
got
already
it.
had movie suggestions for so I don't actually have to be on the movie set until Saturday. So the following week we're gonna go to New Jersey HorrorCon, so that if we don't have one next week, we're not gonna have one for 2 weeks. So, do you guys want to have one for next week? Because I think I can make it.
I think I'm clear.
We could talk after the show.
Yeah.
Okay, think about it. Because I was just wondering about that because I'm going to movie shoot, but again, Saturday is when I actually go. The night before, I'm just going to be in the hotel. So, because I know that was brought up. I'm sure people are wondering. So, but yeah, New Jersey HorrorCon is the following weekend. So if anybody wants to come down, I'll be at New Jersey HorrorCon. Fuzzy will probably be roaming around somewhere.
That's
Mhm.
actually
Fuzzy.
that's the same weekend I'm going to Philly Philly Fan Expo or something.
Mm.
That one has like Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, John Cena,
Yeah.
John Carpenter, all the huge names. McLovin from Superbad. I mean,
Huh.
Huge price tags.
yeah, they usually are. I only have a couple I want to meet there, so
Yeah.
but yes, they usually are a lot more expensive there.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably meet everyone at New Jersey HorrorCon for the like prices you pay at the other one,
Pretty much, yeah.
which is great.
Yeah,
Like,
probably.
don't get me wrong, it's great when like you can go to a smaller convention and like the people's prices aren't ridiculous because like
Mm.
Danny Glover was at Chiller and he was $80 for a picture and a
Mm.
photo. He's going to be at this Philly Fan Expo and he just for his autographs over $100. Like they
Whoa.
just
Yeah.
upcharge everyone there. But
Yeah.
they also get some huge people that like you'll never meet otherwise.
Mm.
Like Mel Gibson, he's a dick, but it's still pretty cool that like someone big like that is doing a con with Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Gonna go get your copy of Passion signed by Mel.
She's all that. I was thinking.
Oh shit! Oh,
Yeah. The scene,
Why not Mad Max? Yeah.
guys, you're making great suggestions, but
well, because those are good movies. Except for Choose the Man.
I mean, I think his autograph's like $500, so I'm not getting anything signed.
Yeah.
What?
I said huge price tag.
I'll just get a Sharpie and jot his name on my disc and just say I got it because screw that noise. No one else is gonna know.
Mm.
I'll take a picture of
Yeah,
what it
he's
looks
just gonna be
like.
tracing it.
Yeah, dude, I guarantee you, I could find it on Google. I'll see it. I'll print out a sketch of it, and I'll just do it on a DVD. I'll be like, to Brian with love, before I was a piece of shit, signed Mel. That'll be good.
Just for the record, I'm not meeting him, so that's
Okay.
Yeah, I don't got that money. I don't have electric lawnmower type of money that you leave in your house overnight.
Hey, man.
I don't know if even if I had the money, I don't know if I'd want to necessarily meet certain people.
Oh, I
Nah.
thought you were gonna say if you didn't have the money, or if you had the money, you weren't sure if you'd get a robotic lawnmower. And I was gonna say, come on now, don't lie to yourself.
Look, I'm not the one who's got to mow the lawn, so you talk to that man over there
Oh,
who has to mow the lawn.
oh,
Well, we're in a townhome, so we only have like the one little thin strip
you
on
guys,
the left
you guys
side of the
don't have
house.
it's
And
not
we have
part
a-
of the HOA.
For the most part, it is because I got the deck, and I got if I didn't get the deck, I would have to mow that. But like we're on a hill with the hill in the
Mhm.
backyard, so
Gotcha.
the hill comes up to the deck, and yeah, I forget what size deck it is, but it's enough to cover up whatever backyard space we would have had. Because I rather have had a deck as opposed to, a grass, outside the kitchen kind of thing. It just
Yeah, you want to talk about horror movie? You should have been here for the tree
The
no,
tree.
that
not
was
the
underneath.
tree.
Yeah, it was halfway underneath our house that we had to
Oh,
figure
it's
out how
gone
to.
now.
Oh, was it
Yeah,
growing?
remove.
It was growing up into the foundation.
Well, not into
Yeah.
it was growing into the central air and stuff. So
Oh
yeah,
shit.
so it's going
And
now.
yeah.
Yeah, that's oof. Well, good job.
It took a little while, but
Yeah,
we figured it out finally.
yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah, that was a horror movie. Yeah, because I mean, every time you chop it down, because it was a particular tree. Because when they do new developments, they just seed everything with whatever.
Yes.
Mhm.
They're not concerned with what it is. So we wound up with the nightmare tree
Yeah.
that was
The-
partially underneath our house. That was growing in weird different ways, and every time you chopped off, the limbs, they would grow back even worse. When you started chopping away at at the base of it, it
Mhm.
would create spouts along
Yeah.
wherever you
Yep.
didn't cut. So you
Create
would have
runners.
all of these new, yeah, you would have all these new branches, and then on top of that, because it was a water source, because all trees are water sources, you have ants. You
Mhm.
have the
Yeah.
ants coming in
Yep.
because they're being supplied by the water by the tree. So every single year it was just nightmare after nightmare. But we finally killed it.
Yep.
Sounds like the nonsense we've been dealing with. Someone, I don't know if it was the previous neighbor or what, but someone ended up putting some of that like creeping tangle vine.
Mm.
And that crap's been growing over on the side, and it actually
Mm-hmm.
climbed up the house about 15 feet and is now like climbing across the side of the house. So I got to get
Mm-hmm.
out with like a 25 or 30-foot ladder and try and pull this stuff off safely without eating
Mm-hmm.
shit and falling a long ways. Not looking forward to it.
Yeah. And then on top of that, if you don't do it right and we used Roundup, but the way we did it was
Mm-hmm.
we drilled right into the base of the tree, right into
Right.
its trunk. And that pretty much killed it. But if you were to put it around the area or need to put it somewhere else, you're killing a lot of your vegetation because you can't grow anything
Yep.
on there. So the stump's still there. Couldn't get rid of it, but
But everything around it
we
is
can't.
also dead.
Yeah, pretty much everything around it. So we can't put anything back there. Like we can't put a tree back there on that side because it's not going to grow.
Mm.
All the if we put flowers or something around the stump, they're not going to grow. So yeah, it's just that area is dead now.
Yeah.
At least it's the back of the house, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was years ago. We finally got that. Mhm. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. But Fuzzy's giving me notes.
He's like,
That's what that
yo, no
beeping
one
is.
cares about our lawn care. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he thinks that everybody cares about his video games. His video games, right?
Ooh,
Mhm.
boy.
Little
Hey,
Here
ventures.
we
that's
go.
because people do care about our video games, to be fair.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're gonna get into Getaway. So this is the one with Nick Frost in it. 2024, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So this one is about a family on vacation, and they choose a weird place to vacation. They are going to vacation on an island that was once isolated, and because of their long time isolation, um, they started to go towards cannibalism, and they have this remembrance um, that they have on the day. I guess the light. I think the isolation was lifted. So this family decides to go on that day, and of course, the townsfolk are not happy about it. So, first impressions.
So it started off a little slow for me. Sorry. Started off a little slow, but then I'd say a little bit more than halfway, it definitely picked up. It gave me the Midsummer vibes a little, and there was another movie it reminded me of. Midsummer and kind of like a Norman Bates kind of thing with the guy that runs the hotel or whatever. I enjoyed it. I'd recommend it without giving too much away just yet. So that's all I'll say for now.
Yeah, for me, I would say the first impressions were I was wondering how they were going to, how this town was going to try and off this family, reliving the tradition of turning into cannibals and stuff like that. I was wondering how they were going to approach it, especially, when they start taking the ferry ride over to the island. It seems like the townsfolk that were on there were already looking at them like, not necessarily like they were a meal. They were looking at them like they weren't happy to see them, but yeah, it started off really weird. Love the overall movie, but first impressions, I was just trying to figure out how they were going to get them or how they were going to set them up and whatnot. And man, oh man, those townsfolk with the dead skunk at night, and just basically the eyes piercing the family while they were on the ferry, or when they landed and they're on the side of the island, all of them looking at them like, you get back on the boat, you don't belong here. And then the guy doing the Airbnb, was like, oh, I invited them, screw tradition, we should have visitors, kind of kind of thing. Yeah, it was definitely weird. Kind of like you said, Norman Bates kind of deal for the hotel setup. But yeah, pretty cool start. But man, we got a lot to talk about afterwards. What about you, Cypher?
Oh man, I don't know. I I feel like anything that I see with Nick Frost and it doesn't have Simon Pegg, I get nervous. Uh, so my initial impressions were very not expecting very much. But yeah, I mean, I avoided the trailer, but on initial kind of impression of this whole situation that's going on, it had just an eerie vibe to it. Of course, like the island situation on its own, always kind of a creepy scenario. And the fact that they were going to this place or this place that they highlighted the history of to an extent, I was like, man, that does not sound like a place that I would want to bring my family. Um, so there must be, like, I kept feeling like there had to be a familial tie or something, being the reasoning for it. Um, of which I'm sure we'll talk about more of that stuff later. But I was just like, that doesn't sound like a place I would want to go, even remotely. Uh, get it remotely. Sorry, my apologies. Um, but yeah, I I was a little bit unsure what to expect, and I got some creepy vibes initially just because of the scenario and the location.
So, um, I really like this one. There was a similar movie that we had reviewed on another person's our podcast, and that was similar to this one. But I liked this one better because even though I wouldn't say it was slow paced in the beginning. I think it was going towards the direction of a different type of movie that I thought. So that's why it might seem like there was a slow lead up. This was only an hour and a half long, so it's not like a 2 hour movie or anything. But I just liked it better because I thought it was going to be one movie and it turned out to be another. I kind of knew ahead of time the other one that was similar to it What was that one called, Fuzzy? You remember?
No, I can't. I know it was on Tubi, but I can't
Yeah,
remember the
I
name
have
of it.
to.
It was like something like Hillbilly something or something along
No, it
those
wasn't.
lines.
I don't remember being hillbilly something, but it had. I think it had hillbillies in it. Anyway,
Yeah,
but it was same type of movie, family going somewhere, and as a family, and things start to unravel, and then you kind of see it going in a different direction than you thought it was going to go, and you also kind of find out more about the family that you didn't expect. There was a lot more lead up, that was a lot more spoilers, a lot more predictability in the first one that I saw compared to this one. And I think that's why I like this one better. You kind of don't see where it actually, the movie falls. Okay, and we'll definitely do spoilers. There's no real way of talking about this without spoilers. Does everybody agree on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way. So get ready for some spoilers. It's still a good movie because the visuals are great. It's hard to describe some of these visuals and really get an understanding of what they were until you actually see them. And they're definitely unique. They're definitely um visuals that you should see to actually get that, feel for the movie. So, how about this? We're going to open it up to the beginning scene and talk about what your impressions were of the family in the first few opening scenes. So who wants to take that one? What was your impression of the family in the beginning of the movie?
I'll jump into it. Um, too wholesome going into the scenario. I felt like there had to be a catch. There had to be a catch somewhere because it felt like they were just too. They, I don't know. Everything just matched a little bit too well for them. And also the relationship between the husband and wife creeped me the fuck out. Um, I don't know if you and Fuzzy do this. I sure as hell know
No.
that my wife and I don't do this, but the whole mommy and daddy thing, where they're talking
Uh-huh.
to each other and referring to each other as mommy and daddy, you can get right
Yeah.
the fuck out of here with that shit. That is
yeah.
creepy. And I feel
Uh-huh.
like that. I feel like that comes from maybe like a past or like an issue from their upbringing. But I don't know. Every time I heard it, it made me cringe and it made me nervous that bad things were gonna start coming from this. Bad truths that we're gonna suddenly find out about. The family just kind of had an offsetting vibe. I don't know. I kept thinking, obviously, that they were not they what they claimed to be.
Yeah, that was a red flag. They're calling each other mommy and daddy, and not necessarily referring to the kids by their names all the time. That was a little creepy too. What about you, Presto?
I kind of agree with Cypher. I thought they were like a pretty innocent, normal family. I was kind of seeing where it would go. Um, yeah, the mommy daddy vibes. There's some weird people with weird fetishes, so I didn't think too much into it. Just like, okay, kind of like people that call each other babe all the time or whatever. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, like hey babe, hey babe, hey babe, hey. It's like, okay, we get it. Like, simmer down a little. It's uncomfortable. So yeah, I mean, it was for me. Like, I know you said it didn't feel as slow, but it felt slow for me because it's like, where's this going? What's going to be the payoff? And then once you get to a little past the middle, you start figuring everything out. And it's like, I'd say it's a pretty big plot twist. I definitely did not see it coming. Uh, it gives you a whole new perspective why they wanted to go there so bad. Because when I was first watching it, I was just like, I wouldn't want to go here for a vacation. Like, what do you get
Yeah.
out of this? And then you find out what they get out of it. It had some good comedy, had some good one-liners. I think Nick Frost definitely helped make the movie. If Nick Frost was not in it and it was a lesser known actor, I don't know if it would have worked as much. There's some movies you see him played by someone, and you're just like, wow, they fit that role great. Like, you really can't picture anyone else doing it. And I kind of got that vibe with him, like just his comedy / seriousness, like it worked.
What
Yeah,
about you, Fuzzy?
I agree. Although I did find the name of that other movie. It was Low Lives
Yeah.
on Tubi. That it's hard for me to decide which one is the better of the two. I like them both, but yeah, they started off as like your typical kind of like family or the depiction of an American family, I guess, going abroad kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
and they had kind of like, the stumbles with, oh, they got teens, the teens are moody and don't want to, listen or act like they should or whatever. And, the first restaurant scene was kind of interesting, looking back on it as far as how it all panned out. But yeah, it's, I don't know. It was definitely a kind of a shock. I wouldn't say shock to the system, but something was definitely off later on when they decided to go out to the bay as opposed to watching the play itself. They seemed like disinterested, and people were kind of shocked. And where are you guys going? Oh, we're just going to be on the water and stuff. And meanwhile the play is going, and it's depicting all the doing the historical reenactment of how they became cannibals to some extent. And then these guys basically come back from their little swim, slicing and dicing everyone, which was definitely unexpected. But I like the lead up on how they did that. The B2B or Airbnb guy
Oh my
was
gosh. We'll get to him
definitely
in a minute.
weird. I
We'll get
mean,
to him in a
like,
minute.
yeah,
Hold your thoughts. Hold your thoughts on him. Hold your
oh,
thoughts. He's about an hour worth. Okay.
meow. no, but yeah, it was definitely kind of weird all around. But it explains why they picked that vacation. It's almost like the townsfolk should have known something's up. Like they probably hadn't had visitors in 60 plus years or something ridiculous kind of thing. So yeah, it's like, oh, these outsiders are coming to this island despite the history. Yeah, that should have put their guard up, but instead they were like, ooh, we can have fun with these people, scare them off or you know turn them into dinner kind of thing or something. But yeah, I
Well, that
really
was the
enjoyed
plan.
this. Well, yeah, that was the
That
plan,
was
but plans
that was the plan.
don't always work. Yeah, they effed around and found out the hard way. Unfortunately, they had the wrong family go on vacation there that they were going to try to set up. Meanwhile, they were the ones doing the setup all along. So yeah, yeah, it was pretty cool lead up and twist the plot kind of deal.
So
So we have this I thought the portrayal was I thought the what they were trying to introduce was this family was this unwitting kind of people that they're going on vacation to see something that because she mentioned, I think it was her uncle or grandfather or something like that. So she mentions a relative, and she's like, yeah, I want to go see, and there's a play, and there's I want to see the history of it and everything, and get the feel and everything. And she's talking about the cannibalism and the isolation and stuff, and of course the children in the back are like, this is boring, I don't want to talk about this. And then they get there and she becomes angry shortly after talking to the residents, and the residents, of course, are threatening them. And you just kind of get this vibe that Nick Frost's character is kind of submissive to his wife. Which later on in the movie you kind of don't feel that it was submissive that he was playing off. So do you think that was kind of when he was trying to play submissive to his wife and try not be argumentative and stuff like that, was that a red flag, or was that just kind of like you guys thinking that he was like going to be the first one to die?
I mean, I think every husband here will say they didn't think anything of it because they're just like, listen, we're on vacation, we're trying to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
What the wife wants, the wife can get, kind of thing. Like, we let you women have the saying something, so we just avoid the arguments. So I didn't take it as a red flag or that he was weak or anything. I just took it as my man's smart. He knows if he wants to have a good time and not ruin this right away, he's going to listen to his wife.
Yeah.
How you feel about that, Fuzzy?
You already know. You already know.
She wants on record.
Fuzzy gets what Fuzzy wants.
She wants on record.
A lot of the time, because after a while, like the saying goes, you could either be right or you could be happy. After a while, I get tired of letting her not be right, or no.
Oh, really?
How should I put it? It's like, I don't know. Like it eventually builds up. It's like, okay, I can not argue and get what I want and just sit back and relax kind of deal. But after a while, there's like a threshold, and it's like, all right, enough of this.
So let's let everybody know, Fuzzy was an only child, but not an only child.
I was the youngest, and there was like 20 years of, between siblings. Well, my brother was 24 years older, and my sister was 19 years older. Yeah, by the time I came around, they were more like an uncle and aunt kind of thing.
Fuzzy didn't have to share.
No. I was spoiled. I'll admit it. I was spoiled.
So what about you, Fuzzy? Did you just think this guy was submissive to his wife, or do you think...
I didn't really think it was submissive. It was just, you're on vacation and he's far enough away from home where it's like he can't be like, screw it, we're heading back kind of thing. It's like money's already spent. We're already this far along. Yeah, just go along with the flow kind of thing. We're not turning the car around or whatever. I just thought he was just, trying to avoid, bringing the entire vacation down the tubes kind of deal. So. Yeah.
He's being frugal, is what you were saying.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, so now that we know he wasn't submissive, when did you start to see that change in him before we got to the point where we know they're not victims and they're not going to be victims? When did you start seeing Dad become a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more taking charge and things like that? At what point in the movie?
I don't know if you guys are on the same boat with this one, but I feel like when they confront Matt about the situation at the house and when they surprise him with the dead fox or whatever the hell that was on their doorstep. I think for me, I think that was when I saw like a pretty drastic change, because like his Karen nature when he's talking to Matt about the situations, like, I expect you to fix this and blah, blah, blah. Like, he suddenly had kind of turned face, because previously he just kind of felt like, in the stage that you were talking about, the submissive and stuff, he felt very much just like the lovable doofus that was just around for the trip, and he wasn't going to make a big fuss. He was just trying to make the best of the situation. But suddenly there was a bit of a shift where he was the asshole customer that was going to be right no matter what. And granted, like, justified given what they ran into. in that scenario, but I felt like it suddenly was very much a personality shift for him.
Yeah, I'll agree with that because he was like, I'm not going to leave a good review. Like this has to be resolved on a thing, and
Yeah.
just the fact that the town came out, left it. I think it was a dead skunk on the
Says
step,
skunk.
and they weren't like freaked
Uh-huh.
out. Like I'm not going to go into great detail, but if I see a bunch of people with pitchforks or torches and they leave a dead animal on my step, I think I'm gonna be a little more animated. They just seem kind of calm, like, "Hey, what do you guys want? Oh, you let? Oh, okay." They left a dead animal on our step. Let me go ahead and I guess take that and then bag it up and give it to Max and stuff. But yeah, that was like the start that maybe he's not quite what we thought, but it wasn't like it wasn't as pronounced at that point. Like I think once the son called him an egg, that was one of the things that you could definitely tell. Yeah, well, yeah, that's a little different. And then the way the kids were acting when it shows like the coffins and it says like English liars or something like that. And they're like purposely pushing buttons and they know that these people are, trying to scare them or spook them into thinking that, oh yeah, these coffins might be for you or whatever. And they're just laughing it off. Like, I think the average team would probably, I wouldn't say be a little wigged out, but like probably get out of there and not push buttons as much. But I could be wrong. But yeah, there were signs.
So before we get into Matt's, what were some of the you could have not caught the comment? What were some of the favorites that that was a comment that just made it funny at that moment or made it interesting or whatever? What were a couple of the comments that if you missed it?
I don't want to say this one made it interesting to me, but it was disturbing also when the sister came in her room and she couldn't find any of her underwear. And her first reaction was she yelled for her brother and was like, hey, just give them back. I don't care if you wanted a quick sniff or whatever. Like, I just want my underwear back. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what brother and sister is it just like, hey, I'm missing my underwear. Just give them back. Like, if you wanted a sniff, that's cool and all. I just need my underwear. Like, that was so nonchalant. Like, this happens all the time with the family.
Yeah.
Listen, I get that you wanted to rub them on your face, get a rolling brown out real quick, but please just give back my underwear.
Yeah, that was like, when they said that, I even rewound. I was like, did she really just say if you wanted a sniff, like, to her brother? And it was like, yeah, it's cool if you wanted a sniff. It's like, she totally did say that. And like,
yeah.
And he wasn't even fazed by it when he came in the room. It wasn't, you're like, yo, what the fuck you saying? I want to sniff your underwear. He's just like, no, it wasn't me. And I'm just like, that's the only fight you're putting up, dude? Like, your sister thinks you're sniffing her underwear.
He said he was gay. He's like,
okay,
gay.
Yeah. Plus it's his sister. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
that's how a majority of the states in our country have so much. Never mind. I'm not gonna jump into it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of brother, sister, cousin, wives and stuff in this country because of reasons like that.
So when she's and he's like I've had I've used marijuana before, and remember what her comment was towards the end? He's like, well, what are you into? Did you guys catch that one?
Yeah. Didn't she say Coke and big dicks or something like that?
Oh, yes. Yeah. That was pretty good.
Now that's a party.
No.
I'm just
No, but
like,
it was
looking
weird with her
back,
cutting the water on. Like, why would you cut the water on? I guess unless you knew at that point that somebody is listening, kind of thing. But
she
that
thought that
did come
somebody was
across weird.
listening. You would normally do that. You would try and create some type of noise, background noise, to drown things out. I mean, we've seen that in movies, not necessarily water, but we usually see music where they put on
Yeah.
music or the TV or something. But they're in what, Sweden, in one of the islands in Sweden or something.
Yeah.
So
No,
I don't think they had a TV.
no, I do the same thing at work all the time. Is like if I know that someone's listening in, I'm like, oh, yep, bunch of coke and big dicks, just to see if I get a rise, because that's perfectly normal behavior. So
I'm sure you do get a rise.
yep, a rise in the Levi's.
No,
This
but
guy,
there was a lot of subtle hints.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, that was a subtle hint, and the same with the interaction between the son and the daughter or whatever.
Yeah.
But to the extreme that it was, though, I still could have never thought that. Might as well say it now, that they weren't related.
Yeah.
What? Spoiler.
No,
Gosh,
it was like a hobby for them.
What?
They created
it
a
was.
fake family
Mm-hmm.
to go slaughter people.
Yeah, man. Some people like getting together with their families to play board games or build Legos. Some like to create a mythical family and just run around and kill everyone based on whatever.
A family of serial killers. No, I still look back at the ketchup after they left the restaurant. Like, oh, you got ketchup on your jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice that he had ketchup before he left and went back to get his wallet or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
that was. But they tried to play it off as that the one guy, I guess, that got out of prison that got on the ship late or whatever. But
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Mads. Let's talk about him. Your impressions.
Man, he was creepy.
Motherfucker.
I mean, he's a lonely guy. Like,
yeah.
That's where
he's not just a lonely guy. He's a fucked up lonely guy.
He gave me the Norman Bates vibes. Like, he was doing a lot of stuff that you're like making you feel uncomfortable and like, oh Jesus, like wearing women's underwear and he's running
Norman
around.
Norman Bates meets like Buffalo Bill. I felt like there's a lot of it rubs the lotion on the skin type of vibe too.
Yeah.
And then
he was probably about a couple of movies away from having a skin dress kind of thing. So,
yeah.
Well, he had cameras hidden everywhere, and Nick Frost is getting a blowjob, and he's watching on the camera, spanking it. Like, spoiler.
Yeah.
He's very fluid about his preferences.
Fluid. Nice choice of words.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Because he was getting that fluid going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Meow.
Yeah,
That's
he definitely
Fuzzy's
added
favorite
to.
part.
I thought he was just quoting Super Troopers.
No, it like when he was sneaking up right behind the daughter, and she was talking to him about something like you should wear a bell around. Oh, like a cat? It's like meow. And then he walks away. Meow.
Yeah,
like man, oh man, like either that guy was definitely high on something, or he just he doesn't know how to interact with human beings in normal means kind of thing. But yeah,
He's very sheltered.
What if Matt wasn't actually playing a character and like they just found him while filming and we're like, oh, we gotta write this guy into the script, like.
Like I think I've seen him in other movies, but yeah, if they had just found him like, oh, this is random guy walking around looking at at people peeking around corners or something, and he's doing unusual things in his pants pockets. Let's give
Like
let's give him a part in this movie.
I feel like we've all seen or kind of know someone like that, where they have that like really bad haircut where they gel it all laying down and stuff, and you're just like, you're like, oh, see, Fuzz knows what I'm talking about. He's laughing. He knows that guy.
Yeah.
There's always one around. There's always
Yeah.
one where all you want to do is you want to start doing hand checks whenever they start to get a weird smile on their face, because you're like, I don't know what you're doing, but I don't trust it.
Yeah, keep your hands out of your pockets, sir.
Yeah. Hand check.
No, we had one at my former job, like, and he used to play with trash cans, but very violently, like as if it was his personal horror kind of thing. But yeah, and he went to massage parlors because somebody recommended it to him in the work break room, and he became fixated with that. So yeah, I definitely had to work with somebody like Matt's. So
makes you wonder what he's doing in life.
So Matt's is the type of person that you feel like you want to take a shower after being around them.
I thought you were going to say shower with. I was like, yeah,
That's what I thought she was going to say.
Matt's this guy you want to take a shower with?
I thought she was going to say that too.
Said, who the fuck says that, Fee? Not me.
Meow. Meow.
All right, so let me tell you about this guy. Excuse me. So his name is his real name is Eero Milanov.
Sounds like a
actually
creeper.
from he's actually from Helsinki, Finland, and he's been in several movies. I don't know about anybody else. He recently was in. Trying to see what this movie is.
I mean, we're not going to know it. Let's be honest.
No. It's actually I've actually seen the previews for it and stuff like that. Just can't remember which movie
must be an Oscar winner.
It was very memorable.
No, I'm not saying that.
He's been in 7 movies. You can't remember the other 6? What's wrong with you?
No, he's been in 54 movies.
Like hell.
To be fair,
he's been in 54 movies. He's been in 54. He was just recently in Azrael. I watched that one. I'd have to look back to see who his character was, because most of the focus was on Samara Weaver. Most of the focus was on Samara Weaver or whatever.
She's good.
But he played Luther in that one.
He even gets some dumb names. Luther.
What's wrong with Luther?
What's wrong with Luther?
Mom, Dad, come meet Luther.
It's not like he chose the name.
Every cult has to have a Luther. Okay, it's called Border. Back in 2018, that's what he was actually most known for, is Border. But Azrael wasn't bad, but you always have to have a character that's in the cult that's named Luther or John or what is it? Elijah or something like that, or there's just cult names, right? He had a cult name in the movie.
New to me, but I guess I'm just not really up on my cult standard operating procedure.
You gotta watch movies with cults in them, okay? And you'll see the same names over and over again. Isaiah is another one. Isaiah, gotta have Isaiah in the cult. Gotta have him. You don't know this? Watch more cult movies.
I try to avoid cults any way I can. So yeah, I haven't. I mean, there was what's his name? Jim. What was it? Jamestown. Yeah. That I don't need to know about cults. There's enough of them out there.
Remember, Children of the Corn, right? Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
Cult names in there. Jedediah is another one. Jedediah is another cult name.
Now it just sounds like we're picking on the Amish.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So Jedediah sounds like we're picking on all of those mother, sister, brother, daughter states that we were talking about earlier. So,
Like Utah?
Mm.
hey now. No. I was gonna say, Utah, the majority of religion here is a cult,
Mm.
as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I guess I should be better versed about cults, but yeah, I try not to. I try not to know more than I need to for that
Mm,
specific reason.
mm, mm.
Give it up for
Jedi,
Yeah, well,
Utah.
Jedi, he's got about the same amount of teeth in his mouth as he is old, so that's good.
Well, Pennsylvania is also known for its many cults and extreme religious organizations. So
Mm.
I guess there's always going to be some here and there, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So yes, he while we're on cult, it did the town seem a little cultish.
Yes.
A little.
Did they seem
Does
cult?
anybody remember?
Did they seem like a cult or just someone like a town that just kind of reminds you like the village, where it's just like they live by their own, they do their
Yeah.
own thing, they don't need anyone coming in, and they don't go out. Like,
Yeah.
so when
very
other people
sheltered.
came in, it's like, yo, what are they doing? What are they got? What do they want? Like, so I sense a little both vibes, like coldish, but then just like, yo, these people just want to be left alone and live by themselves. Like, they're not asking for much. They want to do a play by themselves and have
How
little.
long was that play? Does anybody
Uh,
remember how long it was?
Well, there was a lot that happened during the play, so that added some time to it.
Didn't they actually say it was supposed to be something like 90 minutes? feel
No,
like I
it's supposed to be
remember
an
hearing
8-hour play.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. Not my bad.
Yeah, the play was supposed to be 8 hours.
That's right, because it was like a full thing. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Not 90 minutes. I don't know. That must have been the Utah Colt stuff that I was thinking of. My bad.
Oh yeah, it must have been the Utah Cold stuff. Yeah, so the play was supposed to be 8 hours. So now we saw parts of the play. What did y'all think of the play?
Shitty.
Those,
I thought the guy played really well in it. The one that was supposed to be the robin bearer, the one that was supposed to be the leader that was robbing his town folks and everything. I thought he was pretty good.
Sven Svensson. Is that the
Mm-hmm.
one? Yeah.
Mm.
He did good, but I mean,
Yeah.
that being said, everything you saw in it, you're just like, what the what is going on?
it kind of
And
reminded
then-
me of. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and then like the Kool-Aid explosion that happened at the end, and everyone's getting a fucking facial and
Mhm.
They all
rubbing it
loved
all
it.
over their faces and just having a real grand time. Like that was weird.
I mean, it reminded me also of the Addams Family when they were doing that Thanksgiving Day parade. Like how it was kind of in the woods. They were sitting there watching them. It was creative. Some of those masks they wore were pretty awesome. Like
Yeah.
if I was drunk or something, or tripping, like those are pretty freaking creepy masks they had. So, but they kept them like very homemade looking also. So it wasn't like something that you're like, oh, this isn't realistic. Like it fits with where they lived and probably really not getting off that island at all. So it's just a little play they like doing for themselves. Like they don't want other people coming in. They don't care. It's kind of cool, but it's creepy that like they live by themselves. They just want to do their own thing. Like just leave them alone.
But what was the licking of the faces thing?
Just some weird shit they're into, you know.
You gotta taste your food before you eat it.
They were
I don't
trying
know.
out a little bit of incest, seeing if they liked it.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. All right, let's talk about these creepy kids. Let's talk about the creepy kids. All right. So, what was your impression of the daughter?
Like she has no boundaries. If she's asking her brother if he came over and got a sniffing of her panties,
Yeah.
it was weird.
Well, yeah. What else
No,
happens with those two?
I
Oh,
think I
about
blocked
having to
it
know
out.
about the death, the how many died or something like that, like 200 or whatever. Like when they were arguing in the car heading up there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Little morbid. I mean, our kids watch horror movies, but I don't think they were ever like, yeah, how many people died? That's the only thing that interests me because otherwise this trip is boring. Like, whoa, slow down there, Junior. You
Mhm.
know, but yeah, the kids were off. Like, you can't tell that they're not their kids per se, but you could tell that they're maybe it's the fact that they're trying to portray teens that are always on their phones, but they're not actually always on their phones. They're just talking about weird stuff, I guess. And then that it was just weird. The kids were weird,
So,
definitely weird.
which one was the worst, the girl or the boy?
The
Which
girl.
one was annoying?
Yeah.
Which one?
I don't know. The boy seemed more annoying to me. The girl,
Yeah.
I got on board with. Like she had some weird, funky quirks to her, but she was entertaining. The boy was kind of just obnoxious. And so when things happened like they did to him, I wasn't really too sad.
You weren't too sad.
No, not so much.
Did you like their techniques to try and get at their victims though?
Yes, yes. When they got to that sheriff station or what the heck it was,
Mhm.
yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Um, I mean, it makes sense, right? Especially given that everyone on that island expected things were going to go one way. And so for it to not be that even remotely, and it turns out that it's them fucking with the locals of the island,
Mm-hmm.
it was probably a lot easier for them to do something like that. But I liked that tactic. I think it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
So when they took damage, was that realistic?
Not the shotgun to the stomach for the daughter.
No,
That should have. I mean, unless it was just birdshot or something like that.
it was probably birdshot, I'm guessing.
It
But
would
did
have to
anybody?
be because. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering if they did anybody notice that they put the tourniquet on the father's arm?
I don't remember them putting anything on his arm. But then again, this being a movie, they probably didn't want to go through the intricacies of having to put it below or above a joint or below a joint or something like that, and stopping the bleeding. Blah blah blah. I mean, they didn't cauterize the wound, which I thought that would be a better thing. But yeah, yeah, the injuries that some of the people suffered, like him getting stabbed through the face. That I don't know. I don't know if I could take a sword through one cheek out the other, not knocking out any teeth or bleeding,
Well,
profusely from the face, kind of thing.
well, he did mention that it took out a few of his teeth. But that being said, like if it took a few of your teeth out, he's moving around pretty spry, given the damage that he just took. Right,
Yeah.
like that would have had more of an impact than it did.
Yeah. No, but some of the stabbings that they gave the people like Matt's, man, they did him dirty. Like I
Oh
was trying to
yeah.
figure out the whole thing with the cookies. Like I guess them being serial killers themselves, they probably either smelled the cyanide or something, or maybe they knew that these cookies just something was off about these cookies, so decided not to
I mean,
eat
they
them.
were pretty thin. They were pretty
Yeah.
thin and hard. So
Yeah, they were dry cookies because they complained about that. But
mhm.
yeah, that poor Mats. He thought he was going to get some touchy feely before the townspeople came in, and man, did he got poked a lot. He got a lot of pokings. Let's just put it that way.
And he didn't even get to poke.
Yep. Not the pokings he wanted by any means.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he got any attention that he actually wanted, because
No.
even in the store, when the leader comes in and she's trying to get affection from him, he didn't seem too happy about that.
He has a type.
Yeah. The
He has a
daughter was the
type.
type.
Yeah,
I don't know. It sounds like
he's-
he would have taken the son too.
Yeah, probably. Well,
Yeah.
I think that goes to his type, right? Is like he doesn't want a relationship where both sides are consenting. He wants a relationship where he gets to snoop in and watch people and do whatever he wants about it while they're unaware.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
relationship he's looking for.
Unfortunately, that's kind of accurate. I hate to say. It's the
So
thrill.
yeah. So looking besides Nick Frost, looking at the other characters, we have Sam was the son, playing the son,
Mhm.
and he's been in he was in Heartstopper. He's been in, well, he's done some voiceover for Love, Death and Robots.
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see him
So
there. That's weird.
yeah, I mean, he was in another low budget horror movie, Dampree, vampire one.
Classic.
But a lot of the other ones, like he was in for 4 episodes in Penny Dreadful, the series. But a lot of the other movies I've never seen or anything. He was in Doom Patrol. I don't know if you guys saw that. Well, he was in the TV series, 1 episode.
Mhm.
No.
Lame.
So Iro Milanoff has, I guess, a more eclectic career than he has. So Aisling B, who was the mom, she actually does stand-up comedy in Ireland.
She was good. I like the mom.
Yeah. So she's been in, I think, a lot of things that, well, she was in Smothered, TV series. She was in Doctor Who 1 episode. Oh, a lot of these other movies I've never seen. But if you guys want to check them out. But she's been in 58 things.
Mhm.
So she's had a nice career as well. But like I said, I'm sure a lot of these things are probably more in her area. Oh, funny thing, she was in Assassin's Creed 3, the video game. She did the voice for Emily Burke.
Fan favorite.
Oh, Emily Burke. Shit.
Yes, that's who she is. So you have heard her.
Yeah.
And then the daughter.
No.
Well, the son I remember from Hogwarts Legacy. But yeah,
Mhm.
some of them, hey, that it pays the bills doing voice acting for video games. So
Hell
you
yeah,
know,
it does.
So
some in between.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, I guess that's what they do to kind of hold things over in between filmings and things like that.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Now, Maisie Ayres, she's only been in 3 different things. She was in Criminal Record. I never heard of it. Getaway, which is this, within 2024. And then she did something called Silent Witness all the way back in 1996. I'm not sure how old she is, but if she did something in
It's saying
1996, what?
2023.
Yeah, it's saying 2023, but it says in another part 1996. I think they messed up and
That's
put
when
a different movie.
that's probably when the series may have started. But she was probably
Yeah.
just in 2 episodes in
So,
2023.
so
She's dead.
she just started. Yeah, so she just
Best
started.
known for her OnlyFans.
Uh-huh. I don't see OnlyFans up here,
Allegedly.
but you know,
That's what I hear.
if
Well, she
if you
didn't
have
put it
more
on IMDb,
information,
so
Uh,
you have more information. But a lot of these people are probably from um Europe, that area, Netherlands, and everything. So as we know, Nick Frost is not American, so or Canadian. So but yeah, Nick Frost, we all know what he's done. He was writer on this. He acted in it. Um and we know him from Paul and Shaun of the Dead, Attack the Block, The World's End. Let's see what else he's been up to.
Let me just say, if you have the chance to meet Nick Frost, do it. He's such a cool guy, so down to earth. He interacts with the fans. In Washington, D.C., he was taking everyone's cell phone and taking selfies, and he would just get closer, closer, closer till it was just pictures of him. Like, he legit was having fun with the fans, where it looked like one of those that actually enjoyed interacting with people. He enjoyed hearing their stories. He gave you the time. Simon Pegg was there. He was a nice guy too, but he was more short with fans. Like, you would ask him questions, he kind of answer them and go on the way. So Nick Frost,
Yeah.
so much better, I would say. Now, saying that, Simon Pegg's also a bit of a bigger star than Nick Frost, but shouldn't really matter. Fans are what get you there.
yeah.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, with Simon Pegg, they are planning on doing something together. They just don't know what yet, but they are planning on doing something together. They just haven't caught up with each other. So I think when they stopped doing movies together, which was where they both got their start, I think Simon Pegg went off in a different direction than Nick Frost, and it looks like
Well,
when Simon
Simon,
Pegg,
he does
go
all
ahead.
the Mission Impossibles with Tom
Yes.
Cruise, so he
Yeah.
definitely got the better end of that stick.
Yeah.
Whereas Nick Frost is making more what? Horror movies.
Getaway films.
Yes. So, I mean, the thing that, and they've done other things together beyond, Shaun of the Dead. They did Truth Seekers, which was a TV series in 2020. But the thing is that it's true. He's gone more action compared to Nick Frost doing more of the horror films, and horror films don't get as much love, right? Than the action films. That's the bad part.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It is a
So,
shame.
mhm. But I mean, that's the difference between two of them. But they do have plans to do something else. They're still friends. They still rally behind each other for their careers and stuff like that. And everything. So that's good. Because I mean, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck do that.
Yeah.
With Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith and Jay, right?
Fake
I
ass fan.
actually I didn't see it prior to going, but we went and saw The Accountant 2, and when we went to see that one, I saw that Matt Damon was one of the executive producers in that too. I was like, yeah, okay. Like, he's it. You may not always see him, but they're always still working together in the background, no matter what.
Yeah.
Is that some?
They share an actual bank account. They shared an actual bank account at one point, even
That's
after they
trusting.
became big.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's support right there. So when one wasn't doing so well, the other one that same one could dip into the bank account that the other one's funding because they're doing well.
Or
Yeah,
Matt Damon
that's
made it.
brotherhood right there.
Matt Damon made it for Ben Affleck, so J-Lo wouldn't take all of his money.
There you go.
Yep. It was the way he could make sure that she didn't take all of his chore money. So,
Uh-huh.
My dog was looking after his people. I like that.
yeah, exactly.
What do you think of those Dun King commercials?
I love them. The one with Dunkin' Donuts, where
Yeah.
Jay and
Yeah.
Silent Bob showed up. That was probably the best commercial of the Super Bowl when it came on.
Mm-hmm.
I
And I'm a
like Matt
Dunkin' fan. I
Damon's-
hate Starbucks, so Dunkin' all the way.
But I just like Matt Damon's, lines in there. It's like they're the reality to Ben Affleck's delusions. I think that was
Pretty
great.
much.
But no, you guys gotta look those up on YouTube because I've seen them on YouTube and everything. But they are really good. Especially when Jennifer Lopez is in there and she's like, "We talked about this." So yeah,
She probably wasn't even acting. That was probably just something they caught off screen and were like, yeah, this is going in the
Exactly.
commercial.
Yeah, just come to the set, and it's like, oh yeah, record this.
So getting back to Getaway and stuff like that. So what was the best thing about this movie for you, and what was the worst thing?
I mean, the best thing had to be when the twist happened, because I wasn't expecting that. So here I'm watching this movie, kind of like, it's all right. And then the twist happens, you're like, oh shit, now it's getting interesting. And then the other best part was when you found out where the sister's underwear actually went because he was wearing them. Spoiler, Matt was
one of
wearing the
best
bra and
part-
panties.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably my favorite part was when they were going through slaughtering everyone in the woods to run to the hills. That was a perfect song for that sequence. It was very enjoyable, and it just worked. Like, I don't know, that was just a fun moment. Lots of fun violence.
Yeah, I like when they pretty much had everybody trapped in the one building, and they're like knocking at the doors and stuff like that, and just overall, like the last, I would say, half hour with the plot twist. I mean, the early part was cool as well. Looking back at the fact that he slaughtered the people at the little restaurant before they got on the boat, and then I guess the blame was kind of looked upon as being that the one person from the town that got out of prison the day before that the sheriff was kind of questioning about and stuff, and he had gotten drunk and passed out in one of the ships at the harbor or something. And here come the police, and he's like, "Oh crap!" and starts to run, and they take him out without even questioning him, thinking that he's responsible for the slaughter on the island. Meanwhile, the trio kind of leave, but the other favorite part, because the son was being annoying, he got what he deserved for calling daddy an egg, which was weird, but it goes to show, huh?
He's round, and he just doesn't like people teasing him about his weight.
Such a weird thing to get bent out of shape for, though.
Hey,
Very
serial
sensitive about
killers,
his weight.
serial killers don't necessarily have to have normal boundaries or normal reactions to things,
Yes, I guess.
Yeah, but it was funny with the sister and the mom making fun of him, like, "Oh no, he killed Sam. Oh no,
Oh my God.
should we leave him or something?" Like, come on, stop teasing me.
No, the mom at first was like, "Now I gotta call the international cleanup crew." Why you do that? It's like scolding them. My favorite part was Matt's. Everything. He was just too creepy. He was too creepy.
Licking the mirror on the other side.
Yeah, you just gotta love it.
Yeah.
You gotta
He's
love
just too
it.
creepy.
I don't know about that.
Yes.
Love is a
Yes.
strong word for that.
Yeah, I don't really recall myself
It makes
saying
it
I love
horror.
this. Horror
It
or
makes it
uncomfortable?
horror.
Uncomfortable,
But
and
it
I'm pretty
he
sure
invokes
licking.
that. But he
Yeah.
invokes that, and that's where that's what you have to love, is the fact that he was that creepy that it created an emotion inside of you that made you uncomfortable every time it came on screen.
Stop telling me what I should feel.
You know, in a parallel universe of this movie, he could have been the replacement for Sam.
True.
That would
True.
have
A
been a
little
weird
older,
dynamic.
but yeah.
He's the older son.
So
You
what
know, the
was
one that hasn't
there
moved
any
out yet.
downside?
That that daddy lost his stabbing hand, I guess. So you know, if there's ever a sequel, you know, you might have to go with a prosthetic or a robo hand or something like that. But yeah, well, yeah,
Hook.
Captain Hook.
There you go. Anybody else? Any downside to the movie?
I don't know. I mean, it did what it aimed to do. Decent. It was okay. Middle of the road.
All right. So why don't we go ahead and rate this? What do y'all think?
I give it a 6.3. Like I said, it was a little slow in the beginning, but I kind of know why, to set the tone of the movie more. Once it started picking up, it just kind of was like a glorified bloodbath. Like everyone got messed up, and yeah, Nick Frost got half his arm shot off, and like it really didn't even phase him. He was just like and just kind of like came downstairs and just like, I got my arm shot off. Like it's just like, oh, of course that would happen to you. Don't, honey, don't worry about it. So yeah, I'd give it a 6.3. It was a fun movie.
Nice.
Fuzzy, what do you think?
I'm giving this a 7. Like I made mention earlier, the movie Low Lives was up there for me as well, which had like a similar twist kind of deal. Not to spoil that one as well, but I do recommend that as well. This one I definitely recommend. Didn't get into my shouting at the screen because they were doing stupid stuff. Kind of was trying to figure out where this was going and how they were going to set up the family, and then the twist definitely kind of threw a loophole for what I was expecting to go or what I was expecting to happen. And then looking back at oh, Daddy, you got ketchup on your jacket, and it's like, oh, he went in there to get his wallet and murder those folks, and somebody else got the blame for it. And nobody on that boat was the wiser. They were looking at them like they're the prey. Meanwhile, they were the prey or going to be the prey, when they get home kind of deal. But yeah, I give it a solid 7. Enjoyable. I might rewatch it at least once to kind of look at some of the things that they slid in there as well. But other than that, enjoyed the movie. I recommend it. Definitely worth a watch. What about you, Cypher?
You didn't fall asleep.
No, I didn't fall asleep.
Didn't fall asleep. There we go. High praise. I don't know. I probably won't like it, but I think I'd probably put it right around maybe a 5.8 ish.
Okay.
It was okay. It was okay. I do think I feel like just in general, the just the feel of the movie and stuff. When I see that Nick Frost is in it, I kind of expect that specific energy, like what I was familiar with the old movies I saw him in. And I feel like there were only glimpses of that, like humor and some of that stuff that he brings to the table. There were some pretty interesting, quirky moments in this, which I feel like once you actually understand what's going on and things are revealed, some of it makes more sense and is more enjoyable. But just in general, like it's okay. Like it's not the worst thing we've watched here by any means. But it's also not the best. Just kind of lands in the middle for me.
Okay. Not bad. What about you, Fee?
So, for me, I really like this. It was 7.5 for me.
Damn.
I liked Low Lifes, but this was much better for me. Because it didn't give away the twist too early. And then there were the Mats, who's really extremely creepy. You have you have the uniqueness of the kids, in their personalities, and then their interaction with them, with each other, and also with the parents. Not at all what you would normally, say. There were boundary issues and everything, that are not normal in like families unless they're really dysfunctional. So to find out that they weren't actually relatives and that this was kind of just a made family, uh, and now they have to go and get a brother again. I'm sure that's a process. That process, I would actually like to see in a movie. That might be interesting. So, I understand the whole thing with Nick Frost, but his a lot of the things that he was exceptional in all honesty, were probably co-written with Simon Pegg. Um, I want to see Black Cab. I haven't seen that yet. I know it came out recently. I think that was something that a lot of people liked. It's kind of becoming a cult classic there. But in general, I think most of the stuff has been written by him and Simon Pegg, and I think they play well off of each other, and that's where he comes out the best, um, in those interactions. With him just being the sole writer on this, I can kind of see where, um, he just doesn't really have anybody to work off of to bounce things back and forth with. And that might be just a limitation that he has right now, um, with how much, he has, how many movies that he's actually written. I have to see. I want to see how many he's written 7 compared to being, acting in 86 things. He's only written 7 things. And when you think about it, Um, Paul was one of them. Truth Seekers was another one that he also played with Simon Pegg in. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, one was a TV special. Another one was a short. So yeah, this is, I think, his first actual full length by himself um attempt at writing. So I could see how he might not have included many good parts for himself and gave them to other actors. So we'll see in the future because he's not done as far as that. But I really like this one, and I chose it because Nick Frost was in it, and then I find out Presto had already watched it. So, you know, I just didn't think he was going to be so low. 6.3.
Is that what you gave it?
I gave it a 7.5.
I gave
You
it a
gave it a
7.
6.3.
Yeah. This is movie of the year for Fee.
No, I think I gave something an 8 last time. Remember?
Yeah. But your 8 is
Yeah.
like an IGN 6.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's
Oh,
some
really?
feed.
I'm more of an expert than you are.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
Oh shit.
For movies, you know what? I'm not even going to argue. I'm not going to argue.
Well,
I'm gonna be
Fuzzy.
Frost in this one.
look at the time. I gotta go play some Balatro.
Pay for that one later, aren't I?
Fuzzy, you'll be really happy to know that if you need a couch to crash on this evening because tensions are high, I happen to know that Presto just was shopping for new couches and stuff, so
Uh-huh.
he's
Yeah.
got you covered.
I do.
Ah,
It's
nice.
just not coming
I
till
think it's
July.
I think it's gonna be the other way around. I'm the one who's probably gonna need the couch.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I'm leaving town. Sorry about that. I got this
Gee,
retreat I'm going
Look
to.
at the time.
And Fuzzy's going with you, right?
Yeah, he's volunteering,
Mhm.
doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, it sounds about right. You guys. Well, I don't know. You're what, Baptist?
Hmm?
What?
I said you're Baptist.
Me? Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I was baptized. I don't really.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
Anyway.
this retreat like out in the middle where there's a big tent and everything like that?
Listen, you don't have to know nothing. Just you take care of the cats. We'll
I
take
can't
care of what
have
we need to
details.
take care of.
I'm
Mhm.
confused. Is Fee talking about you dudes having a mandate out in the forest and pitching tents? Like what the fuck?
No.
What did I miss?
You were talking about your bromance earlier.
Oh, jeez. Hey, as long as there's no Kool-Aid involved, no cult stuff, yeah, we're good. We're good.
Oh, wait a minute.
But anything else is okay. Asking
No,
for friends.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying absolutely no Kool-Aid or cult stuff.
All right,
No.
we're
Okay.
gonna move away from this, but we're gonna keep the Kool-Aid thing. So
What?
Fuzzy, tell everybody, give all those parents out there a
Oh, no.
warning of the Kool-Aid man trend. Anybody
Oh,
heard of this?
Oh, dumbass
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. Like
What is
I
wrong with
thought it was
everybody?
funny before when stuff would trend on TikTok and kids would actually go out there and do the stupid stuff like the cinnamon challenge and almost
Oh,
die
yeah.
or whatever from
The
it.
Tide Pod
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah, the Tide Pod challenge. Then they did like some sort of Hyundai and Kia challenge where it was like, see if you could steal it in 60 seconds or less, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now it's the Kool-Aid Man challenge, and for all parents and or property owners that have a fence around your property,
Take it down.
don't take it down. Start shoring it up with rocks and cement or something behind the paneling, because apparently kids have nothing else better to do than try and run through fences and then run off.
Oh.
Yeah,
Huh.
they think they're Kool-Aid Man. It's like Kool-Aid. Oh yeah, and they just break through your fence. But hey, if you put reinforcement like some bricks or something, you'll be able to find who tried to run through your fence, and hopefully they're not too concussed to the point where they try and sue. But they shouldn't have been trying to break your fence. So it kind of balances out.
I mean, the only fences I have are in the back.
Mhm.
I got cameras all up in them motherfuckers. So if you choose to go into my backyard on my property and try and break the fence, that's on you.
But yeah, that's
Yeah, I'm
that's
just glad we
the
don't
video
have
and
one.
laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some Utah shit right there. Running through fences.
I'm surprised I hadn't heard of it sooner. Shit, that is that's interesting.
No, it's something that's probably fairly recent. Like I don't know where these people get these ideas. Like before, maybe I'm the old man. Like growing up, it wasn't like trying to destroy property. I mean, yeah, you threw rocks at windows or something stupid, but not running through fences, not trying to eat, stuff that's supposed to wash your clothes or dishes and stuff like that. Like, or try to inhale like you're sniffing coke, but it's something else. Like, no, none of that stuff. I guess thankfully we didn't have smartphones back then. maybe that was the blessing in disguise. But
Ooh,
man, oh
they were.
man.
Yeah.
It's literally Darwinism at its best. So if all these idiots want to kill themselves doing these dumb things, then cool. It clears up more air for the rest of us, I guess.
True.
Less resources wasted on low IQ operation.
True. But yeah, that's just as a heads up. That's the latest and greatest thing. I'm just waiting for them to be like deer in headlights. Although I can imagine there's going to be that challenge. They stand in the road waiting for you to swerve or something stupid. It's when does the stupidness stop? I don't know.
It doesn't.
Fuzzy, look at the chat. Look at the private chat.
Oh wait, let me see. Oh, time.
Okay.
What? Okay.
Hey, Fuzzy.
I guess I have to talk about video games for a little bit. I think about the only thing I want to say about video games is buy them now if you haven't already, and or try to play whatever older systems you may have, because it seems like prices are going up. It's starting. Hopefully it ends soon, but it looks like certain company, or probably all of these companies, by the end of the day, or not the end of the day, but like in a short period of time, are all going to be upping pricing and stuff like that. And it's that opportunity for them to get more money for their shareholders. So take it for what you will. But yeah, I have a backlog of games to keep me happy and hopefully not have to worry about $80 games for a bit. But push come to shove, I guess I'll just wait until they're on sale. But enough video game stuff. I think probably the bigger thing now is going to be, if you're an Xbox fan, June showcase for more video games. I think probably the other big thing would be looking at other electronic stuff. Possibly consider buying it before the price increase if they haven't already. That's pretty much it.
Hey, speaking of games, can I plug something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so our buddies at Xbox Era, John and all those guys. So John ended up doing his card game, which is a game called Console Wars. And so they had a Kickstarter. They did all their stuff with that. Congrats to them and the fact that they actually just had it ship. So obviously with everything going on across the globe right now, shipping and all that stuff, the logistics of it have been a nightmare. But I actually just got notification, I think it was like yesterday, that they hit stateside. And so they're getting their shipment of these games out into the US finally. So props to them. Speaking of games, I'm excited for that one. I think that'll be a fun one to play with the kids. My wife will have no idea what any of it means because it all relates to video games, but it'll be entertaining for myself and probably my son at least. So
yeah,
good job to them.
Yeah. Was it Console War, the board game or the card game, basically?
Card game, yeah, yep. So it's cool. It's they've got a rundown of it, and they've got a bunch of playthroughs and stuff that they've done that you can watch. But it's just kind of a cool thing. Presto, for someone like you who is not familiar with this, I'm sure they just make a bunch of like spoof names for the different games and stuff in their card game. And you're basically like running this whole operation, and you've got these different perk cards and stuff where you can increase like your game's success or your different game's success, take other people's down. It's fun. It kind of plays similar to something like a Monopoly deal if you've ever played that with the kids. Yeah, so that should be a fun thing. Just tied into more of the game side of things is all. Video game side.
Yeah. Are we done with talking about video games?
Yeah, you're back.
Sure.
Yeah, we can go back to the regular scheduled programming.
Balatro.
You joke, but you haven't played it. So until you play it, You can't give me any of that crap.
It's an addicting game. There's a handful of card games out there like that. There's Balatro, and then I think the other one was Marvel Snap, which most of those players have now moved on to Marvel Rivals because
Mhm.
it's more of a 3D over the shoulder kind of game. But Marvel Snap was another big one where a lot of people were addicted to that for a good bit. And then people are still playing Pokemon, but that's more of the physical card game as opposed to, well, they still play the video game too, and there's going to be another one coming, I think, this summer. So we'll see.
Pokemon is still a thing?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It.
Yeah.
I mean, for Nintendo fans and for kids that are still into the game, and young adults and old folks that are still in. There's some people our age that are big into buying these card decks, and then some buying duplicates or auctioning them off on eBay for unbelievable amounts of money. And I don't know, I just never
But
got into Pokemon.
you
So.
still have that Pokemon Go stuff too. Like I've seen
Yeah.
Mhm.
middle-aged or like full-on grown 50s and 60s adults like walking around, and all of a sudden they'll just stop in the middle of a fucking park and just be staring at their phone. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, does someone need to like press their power button and turn them back on or something, like do a reboot? But no, they're like sitting there trying to capture a Pokemon that's out in the middle of a field. Like, I don't know, it's weird times.
So I work with as a teacher, I work with other teachers and staff members, and we work at a high school, and being in a high school is a little different from elementary and middle school, because when you're with the older kids, sometimes boundaries get blurred because some staff members get that high school mentality back.
Mhm.
And some of the wildest things I hear my students tell me that they've had conversations in the classroom with other teachers. And right now, and there is one of the teachers, she's like, yeah, I gotta pay down this debt or whatever. So yeah, I'm selling this gaming system. I can't remember. I think it was the older Nintendo Switch. So she's trying to kind of advertise without advertising, and she's like, yeah, I got this Nintendo Switch. I gotta sell, and I got Pokemon cards. So apparently, I don't think it was her. It might have been her kid left his Pokemon cards, and guess what? She's selling them off. So anybody want Pokemon cards? I can see if she has them left. But just some of the wild conversations I hear is just amazing sometimes. But yeah, if anybody wants some a Nintendo Switch, it's the older one. It's not the new one that Fuzzy's getting. When you getting that thing?
June 5th.
June 5th.
Yeah.
Or Pokemon cards. She got a whole bunch apparently. There might be some rare cards in there. I don't know. She has no idea how much they're worth or what they are, so she probably sell them cheap. Just let anybody know.
All
What
right.
is this? Be right back. Discuss some IGN 7s while what cipher?
What happened? What had happened is
What was this IGN 7s?
it's like a running joke because IGN is probably the worst at giving scores for games. Like
No,
they'll
I
take
know.
a popular game and give it a 7 to kind of crap on it, and then they'll take a crappy game and also give it a 7, and it's like, oh, it's better than that 7 that we gave it, but we're giving it a 7 because you should play this game. But then the other game they gave a 7, they try to stifle the sales or something. IGN
Yeah,
is weird like that.
so apparently Cypher thinks that I give a lot of IGN 7s.
Spade's a spade.
So Fuzzy, did you tell Presto the good news
What?
about Friday nights?
Oh, I'm now on hiatus for Monday nights and Friday night podcasting. The crew is taking a bit of a break, and
What?
we'll pick things up, sometime down the road. But hey,
Is
work
that your
life
way
and
of saying
family.
you got kicked off?
No,
You
no,
got the
it's
boot?
no.
Did you
It-
check
it-
to make sure that they weren't going on without you?
I'm still in that group chat, so I think everything's okay.
They made a new
No.
group chat.
We'll see if there's an episode at 9, but no, it honestly it comes down to work is picking up pretty much for that for the host of the podcast, and rather along with doing all that work, take the downtime to spend time with family. So
For sure.
take a little bit of a break. I'm pretty sure we'll pick up sometime later in the year or something like that. So just play it by ear for right now. But yeah, no Monday nights and no Friday nights for now. But hey, I might do my own podcast or something. I've been
You
thinking
said
about doing
Wednesday.
There
Wednesdays.
you
Yeah,
go.
Wednesdays or something. Like an afternoon thing. Just me rambling on about video games. Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
So he doesn't have to run. He doesn't have to run away from the podcast. He doesn't turn into a pumpkin no more.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to
Friday
know.
night.
Well, it might still turn into a pumpkin. Or, I mean, to be fair, like 2 hours of sitting here, like eventually you got to pinch off a loaf or, go eat some food, right? So,
Gotta
he's
dial
only
back the
human.
fiber.
Yeah. This is your body without fiber.
Well, we will decide if we have a podcast next week. Like I said, I am not doing anything on Friday night except for going up to the hotel and getting settled. So, and I plan on leaving my job the minute that nobody's looking.
You're leaving
So
your job?
Congrats.
I'm leaving my job for
Good
the
job.
for the day. Yes, for a week. I will be going back to it because I don't think I would like to get vested in my pension before I leave, and I got another 4 years for that.
Mhm.
So, and then from that point, I can either stay in education and go to another school district to just add on to my pension, because that's the great thing about Delaware is that it's not a um it's not a category type pension. It's a state pension, so that means everybody in the state is in the same pension program. So doesn't matter what your job is, as long as it's a government job, everybody's feeding into it, which there's more support for that. It has more longevity, and everybody is pretty much on the same rating scale, and also with insurance wise it helps as well. So as long as I stay in Delaware, I can just keep on adding to it. I don't have to worry about changing my actual job, so that's a good thing. But after that, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so I'm not leaving my job. Don't think about that. But as soon as nobody's looking, I'm gonna be heading out to the parking lot, getting in the car, and going to Jersey as soon as I can.
That's
So I
something to
should be
brag
able to
about.
get there before 6. Huh? What is that?
Going to Jersey, that's something to brag about.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Hopefully you made all
Hey,
the
look,
listeners
that's where they're
jealous.
filming it. I'm just saying. They
It's the
picked it.
best.
I didn't.
It's the best thing
Mhm.
happening in Jersey that week.
Most likely.
Well, I mean, you're either filming in Jersey or you're filming in Los Angeles. That's like those are the two hot spots right now because of all the credits and grants and stuff like that. So, I mean, you got to go where you can save money, right?
Yeah.
Can't blame them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, and it is a slasher movie on a farm, and they found a farm, and there's plenty of them in Jersey.
We got a farm just down the street if you want to do one here. Oh, I see how
Yeah, I
it
got
is.
a farm in
Okay.
my backyard.
I see how it is. I mentioned Utah, and you're like, nah, we don't want to film there. Okay. Cool. That's fine. I get it.
I don't know. I just think somebody. Every time I think about Utah, I just think, if I go
Go
to
on.
Utah, I might wind up being tied to a stake, and people are around with those torches. I just I have vivid
What?
nightmares about that every time I think about Utah. So, and Massachusetts and Texas
Massachusetts,
and
maybe, but Utah?
yeah, they got a lot of Mormons there.
Yeah,
I
most
don't
of them
know.
get offended if you look at them wrong. So,
Exactly.
so I don't
Exactly.
think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna be pitchforking it and burning people or anything like that.
I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's a fear.
I
So,
suppose.
Because Utah's the only
um,
place that can do that. What about Kentucky?
Yeah,
well,
I
I
see.
said
I
Texas
wasn't
and
gonna
any
get
place.
into it, but there are some other places. The ones we talked about with like the sister, brother, father, nephew,
Uh-huh,
cousin,
uh-huh.
twice removed. Um,
I, I I think I'm weary of any state that is legislatively trying to get Christianity as a national religion for
oh,
this
that's not
country.
Utah.
It's not Utah.
Nope. They want their own home turf religion
Mhm.
supported.
I mean, we
They
were
want
in
their special religion.
Patterson, New Jersey. We were there. We made it out alive.
Mhm. That's a miracle.
Yeah, 2 nights.
I'm
Yeah, but
surprised you guys are with me.
but that's a different type of that wasn't religious based. That was more gold chain, no shirt. Let's one pocket has drug money and the other pocket has the drugs kind of place. You know what I'm saying? That right there, I'm not scared of.
Oh yeah. All 3'7" of fee running the streets of Patterson ain't scared of shit. Well, let me tell you who ate shit in the streets of Patterson. Not me, not Fuzz, but Fee.
Trip.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
know.
where she ate shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Then she made this whole scene where they had to get to paramedics and
Yeah.
everything, and it was such a bad look.
The paramedics. The paramedic just the
That
paramedic needed to justify his salary. He saw
Man,
somebody down and he came over so he could justify getting paid because nothing
Mhm.
else was happening.
So what really happened was Fuzz came up to me. That was the night I met Fuzz and Fee. And Fuzz was
Mhm.
like, yo, I had such a good night with you. What do you say we axe this old hag and me and you come back Monday?
Oh, God.
And I said, that's a great idea, Fuzz. He said, I'll make it look like she tripped. She does this shit all the time.
Yeah, she did a tuck and roll. She kind of like stumbled and then rolled. Yeah.
Onto my back.
Mm-hmm.
And then we both looked at
Good
each other like,
move.
should we stop? Should we stop and help?
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Shit just
And it
got
was from
real.
that moment on, I was just like, and this is who I'm going to hang out with tomorrow? Oh, jeez.
You wind up on a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
There had to be some good that came out of this.
Oh. Oh, boy.
So outro time it is.
Yeah, gee.
When we
look
get
at
when we get monetized, Preston's gonna be like, "Oh, I got my 3 cents. I got my 3 cents. I got my royalty check."
Mm-hmm.
I'll be buying that electric lawnmower in no time.
Oh man.
So I think we're done for the night. But if you haven't watched Getaway, please watch it. It was good. It wasn't, a 4 or less, so that's an achievement, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we will figure out for next week. I'm kind of leaning to having one, but we'll see. And then we'll figure out the movie. I don't know. Somebody suggested Drop. So, because everybody on this panel's seen it, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, but we'll definitely have details. Don't forget, New Jersey HorrorCon is the 17th and the 18th. Yep, 17th and 18th, Saturday and Sunday. And check that out as well. I will be there. Fuzzy will be hanging out,
more reason not to go.
making making an appearance, somewhere at some time. But yeah, so we're good. Have a great night. Bye.
See you guys.
Later.
Bye.